journey through space with Freedom Mountain as our home base.
Thank you for joining us today. Our first episode will introduce our storyline, and you will see some amazing things about how your high-tech world came about. You were born into all of this fancy technology, so it seems like things have always been this way. You are in for a big surprise. In the episode after this one, episode 2, we will learn about the Moon Tech Salon and how it went through the Industrial Revolution in a few hours. Kind of crazy, right? But that's the good news. The bad news is there is this evil Shadow and his daughter who are trying to take over the galaxy. The daughter is called the Empress, and she pretends to be nice to get votes, but really she is very evil. Well, except sometimes she gets tempted by good. Long story, but you will see what I mean.
Greetings, I'm Dretzel, speaking to you from the new Castle Kindheart. Kindheart was built in a large asteroid and powered by a quantum bubble drive engine. Now our Empress can travel quickly to meet the needs of her loyal subjects anywhere in the galaxy. From Castle Kindheart, our Empress was to have ruled the entire galaxy. But sadly, things did not work out as planned. The real root of the problem
I just can't take any more of these Empress ads. I'm going to go get some fresh air.
To expand the Empress TV network. All must come to understand that freedom is in submission.
Morning, Aesop. You're sure up and out early.
Yeah, I was watching TV, but just couldn't take another Empress ad.
Her and her daddy, the Shadow, they do wear on a feller.
You're Rick Volbatti, a soldier of fortune. Why don't you just go and arrest them both?
Have stink will travel reads the card of a skunk, a knight without armor in a savage land. His fast spray for hire heeds the calling wind. A soldier of fortune is the skunk called Volbatti. Volbatti, Volbatti, where do you roam?
Okay, I'm impressed. How did you up and sing all those musical instruments?
We abalones have great mouth acoustics.
But anyway, about me arresting the Shadow and Empress, they have a large army, and the Shadow feller has some spooky powers. Plus, they've tricked a lot of the galaxy into following them.
Are you afraid of them?
Not sure. I wouldn't want to pay a visit to the dungeon. But I still go head-to-head with them all the same.
Hi, this is Astra.
Hi, Astra. This is Madeline.
Hi, Madeline. How are you doing? Is everything okay? I heard you're a spy now for Freedom Mountain and you're at the Empress's castle.
I'm okay, but I heard the Empress talking to Captain Kisspaw. They know about your trip to Galloping Galaxy and they have a plan.
Our plans are all falling apart because of the Galactic Flyer.
So, should we just give up and maybe become good people?
No, too late for that. We have a secret way of stopping the train. It has to do with a fly drone.
But don't all drones fly?
Something about a drone fly. I don't know.
Don't all drones fly?
I have no idea what she is planning. I'd better go now. Just tell everyone what I heard, and I'll let you know if I find out anything more.
Okay, be very careful. Call back soon. Bye.
I will try. Bye.
Well, what are you up to this morning?
I'm just waiting for the train to get in. Everyone's going to ride the Galactic Flyer train to the Galloping Galaxy amusement planet today.
So I've heard.
I need to stay here to protect the place in case the Empress's army shows up, so I won't be going.
Yeah, me either.
Aren't you going to go to the Galloping Galaxy with the others?
No, I'm not going.
Not going? It's the whole amusement planet. The funnest place in the whole darn galaxy. Besides, your best friends, Morgan and Tess, are going.
No, I'm not going.
Why not?
I'm a chicken.
No, you're not. You're an abalone.
Abalones are all chickens. Except for my Uncle Filbert. I'm scared of the Empress and Shadow.
You got to have some backbone to stand up to people like the Shadow and Empress. Otherwise, they just push you around like a tumbleweed in the wind.
Apollones don't have backbones. We're invertebrates. I had an x-ray taken so I could show everyone it's true.
So you're certified.
100% chicken, and not even Foster Farms.
I see that brave Wyatt C. Mullis Clam character on the Milky Way News. He's a ruffling up the Empress's feathers for sure, and he's an invertebrate.
If you're trying to get me to go to Galloping Galaxy, I'm not going.
Suit yourself, but it does strike me as strange that someone with a transporter rock that will pop him anywhere in the galaxy in the blink of an eye doesn't go anywhere, but mostly just watches TV.
We Avalones may not be the bravest animals, but that's because we're at the bottom of the food chain. Everything wants to eat abalone, but nobody ever wanted to eat a skunk.
That's true. We skunks generally are not on the menu, sometimes in the middle of the road, but never on a menu. You know, you could just travel with them on the Galactic Flyer train. You wouldn't have to ride any scary rides.
Sure, 2 days on the merry-go-round. Sounds like a great time.
You look worried, Astra. Is everything okay?
I just got a call from Madeline. She says the Empress and the Shadow know about our plans to go to Galloping Galaxy.
I better slither right back in case she calls.
Do you think maybe the Empress caught the train and her dragon ate them? Or maybe she captured them and took them all off to her dungeon. I've heard really scary things about her dungeon. Or just maybe...
Okay, Aesop, you can just quit Mavian. Those things tain't too likely. But I am kind of worried about Hosea being David's new apprentice, 'cause he's wild as a bucking bronco. And outer space is no place to fool around, you know?
Hosea is the new apprentice on the train? Why, that's a really big reason to worry right there.
I reckon it'll be all right. David's the engineer, and he's sharp as a cactus needle.
But Hosea's a wild man.
Oh, good. I hear the train coming now. What a relief. Well, I guess I'll go get my LePew 5000 space fighter ready and get up in space in case any trouble shows up while everyone's away.
Okay, see ya. Be careful, Rick.
Can I hold the horn? If you can reach it, yeah? Do you want to hold the horn? Come on, hold the horn. Come on, hold the horn. Sometimes face back and forth. Brakes, but don't touch them. No, Hosea! Stop! Stop telling me! No, Hosea! No, Hosea! No, Hosea!
Oh, I didn't hear you come. You two are always quiet as a mouse.
Let's give that a think and see if we can figure out why.
Okay, be good, Frankie. All aboard the
Hey, David. Hey, David. What's Hosea doing in the locomotive with you?
He's my apprentice. I'm training him to drive the train.
So Hosea's driving the train?
He's only 3. He's only 3. You can't drive the train till he's 6.
Yeah, I guess you have to have strict rules for safety.
That makes sense. You sure can't trust millions of pounds of steel and a bent time engine to someone under 6.
When you're a mouse, instincts can be so humiliating.
Hi, everyone. Oh, Mildred and Frankie, thank you for setting up my podium. That's really quite a feat for a couple of mice.
Well, we kind of had a sudden rush of adrenaline.
Well, I really appreciate it because we stopped to pick up David's friend Luke for a visit, and it made us a little late.
Psst, Grandpa Steve, I'm not so sure about bringing David's friend Luke to Freedom Mountain. Freedom Mountain is deep down in a cave to keep the Shadow and Evil Empress from finding us. I bet David's friend will figure out some of us here are not from Earth.
Oh, Aesop, just dress normal and pretend you're not on abalone.
This is no joke, Steve. What if Luke tells his friends and his friends tell their friends? It could even end up in the local newspaper.
Hogswallow is just a little bitty town, just a bit of nothing, out here in the middle of nowhere. Why, if you blink when you're passing through Hogswallow, you'll miss it for sure. I don't think the Hogswallow Times will even find out about our podcast. And even if they did, the Empress is clean across the galaxy, and I just bet she doesn't read the local Hogswallow Times newspaper. Besides, the Hogswallow Times print such crazy, wild articles sometimes that nobody believes them. So even if they did an article on us, everyone would just think it's another crazy, wild tale.
No use getting worried about Luke. Didn't you know we are doing a podcast from Freedom Mountain today?
What? Okay, we are doomed.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Let go! Let go! Let go!
What happened here?
I caught the young kitchen worker hiding in the drapes. I think she is the spy.
She couldn't be. It says right on her t-shirt, I'm not a spy.
Yes, she's a clever one.
Should I send troops to find her?
No, she lost her phone in the scuffle. She won't be able to get hold of anyone. Besides, where's she going to go? Now I need a new kitchen worker.
Speaking of the kitchen, there are gargloons hanging around the food waste chute.
Well, don't throw out any more kitchen scraps. That's why they follow spaceships around. They eat the scraps. Stop throwing out the scraps and they'll go find another spaceship to follow.
You are so wise, Your Highness. I'll get right on it.
It looks like the camera's already on and the podcast has already begun. So, well, if anybody's out there watching, thanks for visiting. And, sorry about the little back and forth that Aesop and I had about whether we should even have this podcast. We didn't know the camera was going. Oh, hold on a second. Already an interruption. Hello, this is Grandpa Steve.
Hi, this is Kaylin from the Hogswallow Times. I was watching your podcast. Are those puppets I see there, or are they from outer space?
Yes, I'm a puppet, and this is not an underground hideout from an evil empress and her father, the Shadow. So don't even mention it to anyone.
If they are puppets, I don't see how you make those little bitty mice talk, since they are way too small for a puppeteer.
You're no puppet, Aesop.
Why are you telling fibs, Aesop?
As far as how to make the mice talk, that's pretty easy. It's keeping them quiet that's the hard part.
Kaylin, those are great questions, and I'd love to answer all your questions. But as you can see, Aesop's kind of a little on edge right now, and I think it's best if we don't go into this.
I spell a big story here, so I have to warn you, you're dealing with a Hogswallow Times top journalist. I was also the lead person for a Hogswallow High School yearbook, and I will not rest until I get to the bottom of all of this. My journalist senses tell me there's a Pulitzer Prize story here. So who is this evil Empress in Shadow?
Okay, Kaylin, I can't answer those, so, I got to get back to the podcast. Thanks for calling, and, maybe we'll talk to you later.
Okay, but I heard your comment about us writing crazy wild articles, and I want you to know I have a network of good sources for all of my articles. And also know the Hogswallow Times never rests. It never rests. I will get this story. Bye for now.
Okay, let's get back to the podcast. The thing about inventions and technology is that people really need them. At least the basic ones like fire and the wheel, plows, and remotes. Yes, especially the remotes. Now, animals kind of come ready for action in this world, but people don't do too well without at least a little technology. Now, here's a quick video about this problem.
The eagle doesn't study to know how to fly, but people had to learn to reach for the sky. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. The lion stalks the jungle with its might, but people don't have what it takes to win that fight. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. The cheetah races down the road at 65. You know, for us to do it, we have to learn how to drive. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. A giraffe can reach the tops of trees so tall, but we make ladders so we don't fall. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. The gopher can make a tunnel right in the ground, but we have to check it for pick and shovel all around. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. This can live in the water is very clear, but without a submarine we can't get near. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night. So animals can beat us, but don't complain. We can do just fine if we only use our brain. Yeah, we have to learn, we have to build, we have to conquer the night.
Nowadays, we have so much technology and it grows every day. But I want to tell you the story of a man whose whole world went away and he found himself in a brand new world. Now, this is a true story. He had been born into a world of dusty roads that were traveled by horses, carriages, and stagecoaches. Then, in what seemed like such a short time to him, he found himself living in a world of cars, airplanes, and skyscrapers. A world that was almost completely different from the one he was born into. In fact, the world he was born into was not all that different from the way things had been done for thousands of years before him. When he was a child and he wanted to read at night, he had to light a kerosene lamp. There were no TVs and people didn't have telephones or radios. As a young man, his life was centered around the ranch, so he would get up very early and work all day riding horses and tending cattle over thousands of acres. And that's actually something he loved to do. This man was my grandfather, John Cooper. His family had a large cattle ranch in Texas, and my grandpa was born in 1887, and my grandmother was born in 1894. When my grandpa was young, they would need to take some of their cattle all the way from Texas to Oklahoma to sell them in the markets there. So they had a cattle drive. Sorry, wrong video. Back then they didn't have trucks to drive the cattle to market in. For my grandpa's family to get all their cattle to market, they rode horses and herded hundreds of cattle one step at a time from Texas to Oklahoma. My grandpa used to tell me about the cattle drives he went on when he was younger. His brothers and some hired cowhands would go on these long trips. The cattle drives could take months. My grandpa used to tell me stories about those cattle drives. He said at night they slept on the ground in bedrolls, and that was always a bit worrisome to the cowboys because Texas has gigantic rattlesnakes, and on a cold night, snakes like to find somewhere warm to sleep. My grandpa told me that they had a rule for when they were getting ready to bed down at night. If a rattlesnake came out of its hole and one of the cowboys shot at it and missed, letting the snake get back into the hole, that cowboy had to move his bedroll on top of the rattlesnake hole, and he had to sleep there that night to keep the snake underground. He said that sometimes a thunderstorm would come up and the cattle would get spooked and stampede. They had to ride the horses at a full gallop in pouring rain and in darkness to keep up with the cattle. They could only see for a split second when the lightning struck, so they had to figure out which way the cattle were going at the flash of lightning and gallop along in that direction in the dark, waiting for the next lightning strike. Thankfully, horses see in the dark much better than we do. It was worrisome for the parents back then. Their sons were gone for months and they didn't hear from them except maybe a letter or two along the way.
Dear Mom and Dad, everything is going well. Just a normal day herding cattle.
Even once they got back home, life was not simple and easy. They had to cut firewood with axes and handsaws to keep warm in the winter, and people didn't even have indoor plumbing. They had outhouses.
What's an outhouse?
In my grandparents' day, and even in my father's time, most houses didn't have indoor toilets. They had outhouses. So for a toilet, they just dug a big hole about 6 feet deep and maybe 4 feet wide, and then put a small shed over it. Inside the little outhouse shed was a bench that had a hole in it, and that was your toilet. There was no flushing. It was just a hole in the ground. Of course, the smell was not pleasant. If a family member had to go to the bathroom at night, they would need to light the kerosene lamp, and in the winter they had to walk through the snow to go to the freezing outhouse.
Outhouses terrify me. You can drop right into the hole if you're small and don't have hands.
Aesop, it sounds like you're talking from experience.
Actually, I'm not talking.
But Aesop, have you had experience with old technology like an outhouse? I bet the people out there and us here, we would really probably benefit from you sharing that experience. What do you say?
Not talking.
Nah, we understand, Aesop.
Yeah, we understand. We understand you fell in the hole in the outhouse.
Okay, Frankie, let it go.
That's what Aesop did. He let go.
Okay, let's get back to the podcast. No more toilet jokes. In fact, this podcast is really a good example of how technology has changed. Today, this podcast can come to people on their TVs and cell phones and on their computers. But back as recently as 1930, when my mother was born, less than half of the families in America had a radio. That was fancy new technology to them. So back in 1930, people who did own a radio would have listened to the show like this.
But Jose is a wild man.
Oh, good. I hear the train coming now. What a relief. Well, I guess I'll go get my LePew 5000 space fighter.
Then, by the 1950s, when I was born, TVs were introduced, and around half the people had a TV back then.
Time and space back and forth. Brakes, but don't touch them.
There have been so many changes in technology since then. But let's take a closer look at one big change. Let's look at how people learned to fly. Since ancient times, people saw the birds flying and they really envied them. People have always wanted to fly. So they tried all sorts of different ways to do what the birds can do naturally. Now, here's a quick video showing some of the early attempts at flight. Imagine being born into the world of horses and buggies, oil lamps and outhouses and no electricity. Then one day, finding yourself sitting in front of a TV watching people land on the moon. I was with my grandfather that day, and it amazed me when I looked over at him, watching this bit of history unfold, knowing the world he'd been born into. My grandfather always dressed like a cowboy with hat and boots, just as he had when he was young. In fact, when I stayed with him, or just all the time, when they went grocery shopping, he would go on horseback. We would go get on horseback, tie up the horses at the grocery store, and we'd put the groceries into saddlebags and go back home. My grandpa was 16 in 1903 when the Wright brothers finally found a way for people to fly. After that, in only 66 years, we went from this primitive airplane that flew for only about 59 seconds and went only 852 feet to landing people on the moon. And that is pretty amazing. There's a long timeline that shows how things change so slowly for ages. A long time span between generations.
Tick tock on the clock, show me a brand new way. Tick tock on the clock, what do you got today? Thinking how to take the burden down, have some new ideas coming round. Cause the doing's hard, gotta make it easy. Looking for a life just a bit more breezy. Tick tock on the clock, show me a brand new way. Tick tock on the clock, what do you got today? Putting our minds together, see what we can do. We'll make big changes, just got to push through. We'll build a future one push at a time, learning what we need to make that big climb. Tick tock on the clock, show me a brand new way. Tick tock on the clock, what do you got today?
Things have changed so much in the past 100 years, in one person's lifetime. What at one time took great courage and years of time for the explorers of old to travel the planet and chart things out, make maps and explore, we can now do for the price of an airline ticket. But yet, that courage that they had in their hearts, we still need today. It doesn't matter how many inventions we have, how much technology. To go forward in life, we still need that courage.
I'm worried. Help God. Save my life like you saved David from Goliath. Rescue me like you rescued Daniel from the lions. You were my shepherd.
I hope the gargoyles are still out there or I'm a goner. Either way, better than the dungeon.
God, hold me in your mighty hands. Deliver me from my enemies. Deliver me from your enemies. I know, come what may, in your presence I will always stay.
Guys, find another spaceship to follow quick, and I hope it's friendly. I only have 3 days air and a peanut butter sandwich that I don't know how I'm going to eat. Hurry!
There are rumors floating about that you have a spy here.
Yes, we did, but she has been neutralized. She can do us no harm now.
Do you call taking away an enemy's phone neutralizing? She has escaped.
How is that possible?
Check your security cameras and see you struggle to find your darkness.
I try to live down to your standards, but I am often tempted with goodness, with kindness. I really don't know what's right with me.
It's from the little spy girl. How could she get into my room? Dear Empress. Yeah, right.
Steaming down the tracks of light, chugging through the starry night. wisdom, our guiding star. And we're spreading words of liberty from our Pullman car.
You know what it's like. You're on a really creepy planet and both the suns are setting. Then you hear the footsteps. The ground is shaking. Nowhere to run to. What does a lady do? I always carry my can of lightning. One spray will take care of up to a single-headed D12 on the Galactic Monster Index. The beauty is, no cleanup. Who wants to mess with 30,000 pounds of monster? Can of lightning. Don't leave home without it.
My Uncle Filbert was a courageous explorer. But with our transporter rock now, we can go across the galaxy and we don't even have to travel. We can just pop from one place to the other. We'd never have to go in between. Just, pop, you're gone, oh, you're there. It's really cool.
Did your Uncle Filbert use the transporter rock to explore?
No, the transporter rock was invented to try to find Uncle Filbert. Before Uncle Filbert, no abalone had ever explored dry land. We had no idea that there were continents. All we could see was the shore. We were afraid to venture onto the shore because everything likes to eat abalones.
So, how did your Uncle Filbert explore without a transporter rock? Abalones can't exactly fly.
Mostly we abalones are timid folks. In fact, we tend to all be pretty much chickens. I hear it's from a lack of backbone. Have I shown you my x-ray?
Yeah. We've all seen your x-ray.
Abalones are all chickens, except for my Uncle Filbert. One day there was a giant Gooselosaurus that landed in the water, and Uncle Filbert got on his back. Then the Gooselosaurus flew off. Uncle Filbert went along for the ride. He thought he could ride the Gooselosaurus to the moon. He didn't really understand about outer space and how things worked back then. That was the last we saw of Uncle Filbert, and we wanted to find him, but we're afraid to travel. So we began working on a way to travel to somewhere without traveling.
How long did it take you to invent the transporter rock and go look for your Uncle Filbert? It must have taken a lot of years.
No, actually it took us 2 weeks. We all put our heads together and worked real hard. So once we had our transporter rock, we looked everywhere.
Did you find anything?
The only thing we ever found was on a beach about 100 miles from where Uncle Filbert took off. We just found some landing marks from a spaceship, candy wrappers, and a zoology book on a mollusk of the galaxy. That's all we found.
Aw, that's so sad. At least it wasn't a cookbook. I mean, have you tried the aquariums?
We popped into aquariums and zoos all over the galaxy. We were just hoping he escaped. Uncle Filbert was a track star in high school, and he reached speeds over 10 feet per hour. He sizzled. Oh, that choice of words.
Did you keep looking for your Uncle Filbert?
We looked all over the galaxy and finally gave up. Also, we found out we were good inventors, so we started inventing other things like TVs and video games, and this kind of distracted us from searching anymore. We all just started watching TV and playing video games. But our favorite video game was Finding Uncle Filbert.
Okay, Maybe we should get back to science here. We hope you find your uncle, Aesop. It's a big galaxy, and maybe he's out there somewhere.
Oh, Uncle Filbert found his own way home. It's a long story. It has to do with why I see mollusk in the Empress.
Figures the Empress would have something to do with it.
We all heard about Wyatt. He's the clan that started the Milky Way Broadcasting Network, so people hear the truth. The Empress is looking for him. Says he's the leader of a revolution. I think he is so cool. I wish he'd come here. Tell us the whole story. We don't care if it's long. We'll listen.
It's a story of some really fast inventing. Like all those inventions we saw on the timeline, they all happened in just one day on the moon Texelon. Fastest known industrial revolution in the galaxy is what I hear.
How could all of that possibly happen in one day?
Okay, well, it all started when the goose Uncle Filbert was riding on finally landed. It wasn't too far from the water, so Uncle Filbert thought he could make his way back home. But what he didn't know was that the evil Empress was coming to our planet to find super smart mollusks to kidnap and make them brain slaves.
What's a brain slave?
That's when you capture someone to make them invent new things for you. The Empress was in space on her giant castle on an asteroid. She calls it Castle Kindheart.
Should be Castle Stinkhard.
She sent some of her GMO soldiers down in the landing craft to see if there were any intelligent mollusk.
What's a GMO?
It's a genetically modified organism. The Shadow likes to find creatures and change them into things that will suit his evil plans. The GMO saw Uncle Filbert flying on the goose and figured he must be pretty smart to figure out how to do that. So when he landed, they landed too, and picked him up and took him to the Empress so she could decide if they should capture more.
Did she go get any more?
No, just as she was questioning Uncle Filbert, some news came of super smart cowboy clams that live on the moon Texelon.
Bring me my newspaper. You know there's only one paper I trust in the entire galaxy. Thank you again, Hogswell Times. How does the editor of that newspaper give these amazing news scoops? I hear she was the head of her high school yearbook team. Chart a course to the moon Texelon immediately.
But the Empress was so excited about a moon full of helpless, super smart clams that she didn't care about Uncle Filbert.
We have no use for this abalone. On the 8th floor, room 847 of the main tower, you'll find my dentist. He has an aquarium, and he will be delighted with this strange abalone creature. Take him there.
So is that where your Uncle Filbert is now?
No, like I said, Uncle Filbert was a track star in high school. So that night, he climbed out of the aquarium, and he hurried off to find a hiding place. He ended up going into one of the landing crafts on the Castle Kindheart. Slithering aboard, he soon found a good place to hide, and a closed lid, so he squeezed under the lid and found that there was some water inside. It was perfect. It was also the toilet on the landing craft.
I guess it runs in the family.
I never said I fell into a hole in the outhouse.
Didn't have to.
Uncle Filbert stayed very still and quiet, trying to figure out how to escape to a planet somewhere. Then he heard the Empress talking.
We are in orbit around the moon Texelon. Captain Kisspaw, go to the moon below and scout around to see where these cowboy clams live. They're as helpless as worms, so you should have no trouble. Locate them, and I've ordered a prison vessel to meet us on Texelon to collect the clams. They'll be here soon.
Yes, Your Highness. I'll get right on it.
So soon, the landing craft took off and landed on the beach. But the land is very dangerous on Texelon.
Are there dangerous animals there, Aesop?
No, there are dangerous flowers there. On Texelon, the only land animals are insects. That's because most of the plants on Texelon are just downright mean. They eat anything that dares come ashore, as Captain Kisspaw soon found out.
I guess you'll have to finish the story later, Aesop.
Okay, bye everyone. Have a safe trip. I guess I'll go watch some TV. Not one for long goodbyes, so I'll just pop out now. that's a bummer for you out there watching. I hate to leave you all up in the air like this. Kind of hate to leave Uncle Filbert in the toilet, too. But I'll tell you the rest of the story pretty soon. Texelond is an amazing place, but we'll go into that next time. Thanks for coming. Oh, and you might like to stay for a word from our sponsor, Can of Lightning. It's pretty cool.
You know what it's like. You're on a really creepy planet and both the suns are setting. Then you hear the footsteps. The ground is shaking. Nowhere to run to. What does a lady do? I always carry my can of lightning. One spray will take care of up to a single-headed D12 on the Galactic Monster Index. The beauty is, no cleanup. Who wants to mess with 30,000 pounds of monster?